Oh my, what a pleasurelit shift. It's like a rising from the ashes. The 1st of September is the first day of a new season here in Australia, shifting from winter into spring, which is a completely different energetics. We're getting a little more energized, a little bit more motivated. We're coming out of the cocoon, the hibernation. We're coming out and we want to do things and we get activated. It was also the first day of a new month, the first day of a new week. And I started my period on that Monday, meaning also the first day of a new cycle. I feel like a rebirth, like a pleasurelit shift. And this morning, when I did my workout, I had this strong calling of, Patricia, you need to record an episode. It is time to bring across a message. There's this message inside me that wants to come out. What needs to be heard? And if you have found this episode, Pleasure It with Patricia, then this message is for you. This is something in here that you might need to hear or that might need to be a part of what you are going through, considering at the moment. Maybe it's a reminder, maybe it's a learning lesson, maybe it's something that activates something within you. I'm coming out of a rebirth. I feel actually like I had a few rebirths this year, but especially the last few months have been wild. I have been I've written my book at the start of this year, and the last 2-3 months with publishing the book, that was a lot that was happening emotionally, like writing the book, publishing the book. And then a month ago, we moved. We finally made it happen to move to the Sunshine Coast in Australia. I'm absolutely loving it. Kids are having the best time. I always desired to live at the Sunshine Coast. I love being active, out and about, healthy lifestyle, the beach, the pool, the parks. We are so much more out and about. It's amazing, but it's also completely different to before, where as a full-time single mom, this can be quite exhausting because with the kids being out and about, it's all amazing. But by the time you come home, get them cleaned up, feed them, then they are ready to go again. Mom, now let's go to the park. I'm just, excuse me, can I just have a moment too and sit down and eat? It's full on. So it's for me trying to find a different routine structure that will work for me, but also for my business, because my deep calling, my purpose is to help as many as I can out there to live a life that is pleasure lit. But also, I want to embody it, obviously, not just for myself, but also to show, inspire, and empower others and my children. So, embodying it is one side, but also being available to actually teach and educate and having the time to actually work on my business. So, professionally, privately, family wise, it's all like a big shift happening. And I just start to feel getting the vibe of like, yeah, this is where it's going now. And I'm starting to settle. And because all of that has been quite full on over the last few months, especially like the last 3 months, I've realized that I have started to use food as a comforting, coping strategy, as like, oh yeah, yum, 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 yum here, a little bit more yum, yum here, a little bit more yum, yum there. And it ended resulting into emotional eating, if you want to call it that way. And emotional eating is something, and especially that comfort eating. How have you grown up as a kid? When something happened to you, you're sad, you're frustrated. Was there a parent, your mom or your dad, who's like, "Oh, have a lolly," or "Here, have a sweet," or "Have some ice cream," like trying to comfort you with food? Because if that's the way you've grown up, then that might be one of the reasons you look for comfort in food. Usually has a deeper reason, something like a cause. Why am I looking for food? What am I missing right now? And that helped me to realize over the last few weeks, I'm like, hang on a second. First of all, self-awareness. We're becoming self-aware. something's going on here. Let's observe this. Let's identify some patterns and then investigate what's going on. Finding my deeper core reason. Why am I doing this and how can I address it? And then, because it's not the food. The food is just the food. It's not bad. The food is amazing because it fuels your body, but you need to address it in the right way. You need to fuel your body in the right way, preferably the pleasurelit way. Well, let me get back to that one. I observed that, addressed that, found the core reason for it, and it just made me also realize that in 6 weeks I'm going to turn 38. So I'm taking all of that, what has been happening, and now feeling the shift of coming out of a rebirth, of creating and really working towards my pleasurelit self, the best version of myself. The next 6 weeks, I've decided to really focus, deeply focus on my nutrition, movement, sleep management, stress management, all the embodied self-care. And if you've read my book yet, The Pleasurelit Way, which is available on Amazon, and I'm getting quite a few 5-star ratings now on Amazon. Thank you so much for everyone who is rating the book and providing feedback about the book and how it's landing for you on Amazon. I love reading them. I love receiving how it's landing for you. It just really makes my day. So thank you so much. I love all of that. And it's been amazing just also to hear this week so many reaching out and saying they are implementing the pleasurelit way. They are thinking so much more about how can I make this more pleasurelit? And they are telling me, I did this or that. And then you popped in my mind, like, pleasurelit Patricia, or how can I make it more pleasurelit? And I'm just hearing all this word and I'm like, pleasurelit. I'm like, love that, love that, love that. Let's create a pleasurelit world where we all embrace our authentic pleasurelit self. Embodied self-care is actually the first pathway of the pleasurelit way, which I explain in my book, and I'm currently working on the online program as well, which will be available very soon for you as well. That one's going to be deep, comprehensive, transformational, life-changing. Like, I've written the curriculum and I'm just like, I'm blown away by that. So embodied self-care is the first pathway on the pleasurelit way. And that is because embodied self-care, and this is the message, the core message that I want to bring across here, is the important part, because that is your self-love. The way you look after yourself, respect yourself, care about yourself, because that is the foundation of your deeper self-love, of your unapologetic confidence, and of your magnetic pleasure. That is the foundation. I can teach you all the other things, but if you don't have the foundations right, and like myself now too, so this is why I'm saying for the next 6 weeks, I'm really getting back on the pleasurelit way, starting with the foundation. Looking after my nutrition, my movement, my sleep, my stress management, including as a woman who's a cyclic woman, working along with my cycle, not against my cycle, because as a cyclic woman, our hormones, they really affect our eating, our hunger, our movement, our energy levels, our moods, and all of that. And it's really important to work with the cycle and not against it, because there are times when it's better to have maybe lower calorie intake. Then there are times where it's better to do harder workouts, or where it's better to do more the stretching and slow down. So it's really important to work with your cycle instead of against it. But all of that are the basics. That's important, because the way you treat yourself and look after yourself determines the connection to yourself, the love to yourself. And the deeper the love is to yourself, the more everything else will be in alignment with it. I've already started meal prepping. Now, really looking at what actually fuels my body, what is good for my body, because, for example, there are some foods that really bloat me, and then there are foods, they're obviously high in sugar, or they actually make me feel like shit afterwards. So why am I doing that to myself? So really giving this a really good cleanup again and having a look, and then not just what I'm choosing to eat, but also how am I choosing to eat it. I want to eat it the pleasurelit way. I want to indulge in it. I want to embrace it. I want to, soak up all the aromas, the textures, the taste, and, mindfully, sensually eating compared to just smashing down lunch while I maybe scroll through social media and be totally distracted, not even realizing I have eaten. And then I'm just like, oh, lunch is already done. I'm actually still hungry because, I haven't really indulged in the moment. Really working on that, because this is the pleasure-lit way. This will open you up to so much more pleasure. Like your sleep management, stress management, nutrition, movement, all of that are the basics, and they're portal to pleasures. Because the more you look after yourself, the more energized you feel, the better you feel about yourself, the more confident you feel about yourself. You are claiming your body. You're claiming your pleasure-lit body. And that is so, so important because it is your body. It's your temple of pleasure. You need to claim it. And that means you are in control and in charge of how you care about it. So it's really important that you nourish your body and fuel your body in alignment with your pleasure itself. Then regularly working out again, because I know it just makes me feel so good in my skin. I love the post-workout high. I've done a really good lower body session this morning. I have sold all my bigger weights equipment, like my squat rack, barbell, treadmill, all of that when we moved from the 3-bedroom townhouse now to a 2-bedroom unit. I've got dumbbells here, booty bands. There's a workout park out there. I can do and achieve so much just with a few equipment pieces. So it's just about actually doing it. Knowing is one thing. This is what I also want to make clear here. Knowing is one thing. I know what to do. I've studied personal trainer. I'm a master trainer. I'm a nutrition coach. I know all of these things, but still I started to emotionally eat or, skip this or that. So knowing is one thing, but actually actioning it is another. And there comes the priority in. Knowing you are worth it and that you are in control and in charge, and that you actually want to listen to your higher self, not your ego or your lower self, but your higher self, and actually work with your higher self of knowing, okay, I'm acting here out of love and self-love. This is actually good for my body. I do want to be pleasure-lit. I am working and I action it in alignment with it. So moving my body every day, movement. Even if that's like 10 minutes of going for a walk, workouts, yoga, stretching, breathwork, meditation, because all of that helps me to lower my stress levels, which is really good to open myself up to more pleasure as well, and overall health and well-being. Working on my sleep, because we also know sleep affects our hunger, how we feel the next day. Just check in with yourself. How do you feel after an 8-hour sleep, and how do you feel after 4 hours of sleep? Which version do you think makes better choices in life and is happier and is more open to pleasure? So really looking after myself. And that's the key. More intentional also. So not just creating a new routine and structure, even though like that's like the base of it, but then even making that more intentional and bringing in more presence. So creating rituals instead of just routines which can end up being autopilot. Make it a ritual, which really brings the intention and the presence. So you're really indulging in the present moment. And with that being said, it's because I know it can be like, oh yeah, but I wish I would have started that, 5 years ago but I've done this in the past. If you want to change things, if you want to claim your pleasure-lit body, but something is holding you back because you are dwelling about the past or other things you want to still fix from your past, You need to let go of that. Because if you're trying to control your past version, if you're trying to fix something from your past version, this will keep you stuck. You can't evolve and you can't move forward if you're still stuck in the past. What's most important is your present version, your now version, because that's all that's guaranteed. Take the learning lessons from your past version and apply it to your now current action. Just go step by step, day by day, decision by decision, and keeping small promises to yourself. So if you are completely new to all of that, like healthy nutrition, sleep management, stress management, movement, like, Patricia, what are you on about? This is all so much. I have actually designed a program back a few years ago when I was a transformational coach, very successful, helping women to lose weight successfully in the long term, to change their life. And all their feedback was the same. They loved themselves more deeply. They were happier. They were more energized. They started to fall in love. They found their partners. They loved themselves more. Their libido, their sex drive was higher. It was just amazing feedback. It was back then called the Healthy Weight Loss Success System, which was an epic program, 12 weeks program. And I've now redesigned it to make it a self-paced online program called the Pleasurelit Body. And that one is beginner friendly, and it takes you really from the start, taking you along, like how can you change your life within the next 12 weeks to become healthier, fitter, stronger, more confident, more self-loving? How can you love your naked body and really claim your body, claim your pleasure-lit body? All of this starts with one thing: the decision that you are going to make. The decision that you are prioritizing yourself, your self-care, your self-love, which is so super important, especially also as a parent, as a mom, as I've just explained prior, all these changes that are happening. I can only hold space and care for my children in the best way possible if I am embodying my best version. So making myself a priority, making sure I look after myself and my body, because healthier eating and moving my body, better sleep, less stress, all helps me to be in my best version, in my pleasure-lit version and my pleasure-lit body. So, and then that gives me the best baseline to hold space for my younger children or for anyone else, even if you're like in a partnership, to be able to support them. You need to make yourself a priority. It all starts with that one decision. And as I said, then slowly building up. You build self-trust and confidence by making small promises to yourself that you can keep. So in the program as well, we are going step by step. So instead of changing everything on day one, I'm going to guide you through changing one thing after the other and then adding another and adding another. We're talking about habit change as well. Lots of lifestyle changes. We're going through emotional eating. All of these tips, you get it all in there. It's very comprehensive, but it's taking you step by step, because the more you keep small promises to yourself, you are going to start to trust yourself. And when you say to yourself, I'm just going to go for a walk every day, even if that's just 5 minutes, even if that's just putting on my shoes, going outside, going in a circle and coming back in. If you can keep that promise, so small promise to yourself, you will start to trust yourself even more and you can build up on there. So taking you step by step by step. But this is the basics. This is where it all starts. And then later on, we can, talk about all the other things about exploration, play, tantra, king, BDSM, communication techniques, and all of that other stuff. But you need to start with yourself. And this is where I'm currently at again. So really taking it back to the basics. The next 6 weeks, I'm just going to focus on getting the basics right, claiming my pleasure-lit body. And I'm in now for a week and I can already feel the shift. It's like a switch has turned. I've already talked to my daughter. I'm like, oh my God, I feel so much more like amazing. And this is all happening. And she already is like, Mom, yes. Like, I want to be living the pleasure-lit way too now, Mom. So really setting a role model here. And that all starts with you. So you can come join me to join the Pleasurelit Body. You can access that 12 weeks program, which is now an online program, self-paced, available at pleasurelit.com. Before you head into that, I've got a couple questions. So you can comment them down below under the episode, or you can just answer them for yourself. But that's something really just to give you a little bit of a reflection, because that is really important too, to have a look where you're currently at on your journey. So how is your current relationship with your body? Like right now, how is your relationship with your body? And then what is your current self-care goal or your body goal? Because self-care and body, it is very much interconnected, because this is your temple of pleasure. So what's your goal? What do you desire for yourself, for your body, for your self-care, for your self-love? And then what is currently stopping you from achieving that? And why do you think that is? And then one more question. So this is maybe not like a question. Oh, well, it is a question, but then also something that I would like you to take on board for your actions moving forward. And that is, what would my pleasurelit self version do? So when you ask yourself, oh, should I do this or that? Or maybe I shouldn't I? Hang on a sec. What would my pleasurelit self version do? And when you've read my book, The Pleasurelit Way, there is a practice in at the beginning where we do a visualization meditation practice about visualizing your pleasurelit life and your pleasurelit self version. And I always love to say, bring yourself back to that version. What is that version doing? How is that version doing it? And what is that version feeling, smelling, touching, surrounded by, seeing, everything as clear as you can? And then now, if you want to action in alignment with that, what would your pleasurelit version do? And then act on that. Just taking a moment. There were quite a few messages that wanted to come through, as I said. And if you can resonate with any of that, what I've just said, I would love to hear from you. If you feel called to share about the answers of these questions, would appreciate them as well. I love connecting more deeply with you as well. So within the program, you get access to the Pleasurelit community where we can connect even further. And then also you can join the Pleasurelit Insider, where I share so much more of my backstage. I'm going to give you an exclusive backstage pass into my Pleasurelit life, basically sharing a lot about what's happening in my life that is inspiring, empowering, with lots of pleasure wisdom, how I do things, how I address things, what I've learned, like in real life time, because there are weekly journal notes in there, voice notes. So you're really there. And you can join that on my Substack, Pleasurelit. But it's all accessible at pleasurelit.com. Sending you so much love and pleasure. Mwah.